Adoptionity for Enchebia na a Dominic Ayeni. Ade is semi Google what to say a more in Yapan, near the go on so. Ghana 14 man for yam shishon ye pa to send your secretary. Na se say no, a quack say, office kedi, titi ya buying sika, nya their bedding. Obe go scot free cry. Na instead of dona man for about NSS scandal, it been so coming to me the any. But no case be about I know ship a case being a brand in Abdul Wahab, or no so and the all buffer stocks. Nesi get usually dear, just say a brandy on an yeri straight from a attorney general, new on the putty babontin, just saying. Sika our transfer a corner, Casa him be 16 million Ghana cedis, be 23 million Ghana cedis, be a fanata Ghana cedis, be a fanata Ghana cedis. We can now boom 40 million Ghana cedis. Every current cedis, and the old cedis in the intimate Bokrampo. 40 million Ghana cedis. Over 400 billion. Baby, Granam Campo. Properties on my acquiring, Ibaka could see more duties are just in Yassam with one. A young General Society has a fallen on that thing. New case being or the ample a gift to Ayeni a year, the deputy on say from a year or say SB. To say honors or soon semi repairing. Oh, a audio and as a video, you could see a dear any man just saying Yassam with one. Drivers also a dear new NPP film banner. And so in more remi pa to say, come negotiate a year, Attorney General Dominic Ayeni ba, need come tonight at all.
And Emmanuel Atta, Corporate Affairs Manager, and others to create an elaborate criminal enterprise that was used to steal and launder public funds from the buffer stock company. Within the period between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab, in concert with Richard Samasanti and Bismarck Usubuachi, orchestrated a transfer of 78,269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. Evidence shows that the funds were instantly retransferred to companies owned by, to generate 230 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos, to an entity owned by a staff of Buffer Stock, and later instructed the staff to retransfer the funds to a company owned and run by himself and his wife. In July 2022, investigations found that Hanan Abdul Wahab transferred 251,050 cedis from Buffer Stock accounts to another bank account at Republic Bank belonging to Energy Partners, a company co-owned by Hanan Abdul Wahab and Emmanuel Atta, the head of corporate affairs of Buffer Stock Company. Energy Partners is not a service provider for Buffer Stock. The evidence gathered so far shows that they run this criminal enterprise under the pretext of supplying food items to schools under the school feeding program. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 entities linked to Abdul Wahab and his wife were used as vehicles to receive and to launder the proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock Company. The money laundering took the form of property acquisitions across the country, including real estate and luxury goods using the same entities. The entities in question are as follows: Alkani Enterprise, Aludiba Enterprise, Energy Partners, Farhauser Ventures, Farhauser Company Limited, and Aludiba Foundation, and also, and more importantly, Sortina Enterprise, owned by a third party connected to the couple. So Sortina was owned by Atieku Apau, who was then the Northern Sector Manager of Buffer Stock. Bank documents obtained by EOCO revealed that within the period that the suspects operated this criminal enterprise, Mr. Abdul Wahab and his wife and their entities became the largest depositors at Republic Bank, and the branch was at Labone branch. Investigations established that in 2018, Sortina Enterprise, an entity owned by James Atieku Apau, applied to become a licensed supplier to the Buffer Stock Company. This application was approved by his boss, Hanan Abdul Wahab, knowing very well that the approval placed James Atieku Apau in a conflict of interest situation because he was the manager of Buffer Stock in the northern sector. He formed a company and became a supplier to Buffer Stock. So on account of that alone, I can succeed on a charge of using public office for profit. Documentary evidence from bank accounts of Buffer Stock revealed that between 2018 and 2024, Buffer Stock transferred a total of 78,369,082 cedis and 4 pesos to Sortina Enterprises bank account at EcoBank and Republic Bank respectively. The payments were supposedly to pay for food supplies made by Sortina to schools under the school feeding program. Verified records, including way bill, 10,879,021 cedis and 4 pesos paid to the enterprise was backed by food supplies or any service rendered to Buffer Stock. A review of Sortina bank account revealed that the bulk of the payments which Buffer Stock made to Sortina Enterprises bank accounts, about 98% of the over 78 million, were instantly retransferred to Alkani Enterprise, Fahauza Ventures, and other entities owned and controlled by or affiliated to Hanan Abdul Wahab and Faiza Seydou Wune, his wife. Under interrogation, Mr. Atieku Apau stated that although some of the funds received into Sortina's EcoBank and Republic Bank accounts were for the few genuine supplies backed by way bills and store receipt vouchers, in most instances, no supplies were made, but he noticed that Buffer Stock kept making payments to his company, Sortina Enterprise. He also admitted that other third-party companies, which our investigations have established to be licensed buying companies or suppliers to Buffer Stock, also made several payments into Sortina's account, transferred into his company's bank account, but observed that those payments, whether from Buffer Stock or from third parties, were made into Sortina's account on the instruction of his boss, Hanan Abdul Wahab. He further explained that whenever such payments were deposited in Sortina's account, he was prompted by Hanan Abdul Wahab to expect the transfer and was later instructed on where to move or James Atieku Apau. For example, a review of some of the retransfers of the funds paid to Sortina Enterprise by Buffer Stock Company revealed as follows. From Sortina Enterprise to Hanan Abdul Wahab, 60,179,137 Ghana cedis. Sortina Enterprise to Alkani, 23,913,964 Ghana cedis and 90 pesos. From Sortina Enterprise to Fahauza, 500,000 Ghana cedis. Sortina Enterprise to Chain Homes, 550,000, making a total of transfers that we've tracked, from across the bank accounts of 40,493,102 Ghana cedis and 15 pesos. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I've indicated, the proceeds of crime were used by the couple to acquire a lot of high-end luxury properties and, especially real estate across the country. Now, as is typical of all investigations conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, contemporaneous tracing of the proceeds of crime has been undertaken, and we can confirm that the couple purchased a number of high-end real estate properties from their ill-gotten wealth. The properties are as follows. 1. A 5-bedroom house bought from Chain Homes Limited between February 2019 and December 2020 at a cost of $1,625,000. Of this amount, $5,758,165 Ghana cedis, that is the equivalent of 230,841 United States of American dollars, was paid directly from the accounts of the investigated entities. The balance was paid in cash to Chain Homes by the couple. Now, in criminal investigations, when large cash sums are being used to pay, that is prima facie evidence of money laundering. In July 2020, the couple purchased a 3-bedroom house at Cantonments from Golden Coast Developers Limited at a cost of 600,000 United States of American dollars, using two of their companies, Fahausa Ventures, owned by the wife, and Fahausa Company Limited, owned jointly by the couple. The land documents were, however, registered in the name of their wife. Between October 2019 and February 2021, the couple purchased plots at Fanali's airport development site for 750,000 United States of American dollars. The total payments were made in cash in the name of Faiza Seydou Wuni. We have the cash, receipts from the developer. Subsequently, in July 2021, Faiza Seydou Wuni signed a contract with a construction company, Mendeha and Souza Construction Limited, at a cost of 691,650 United States of American dollars to construct the shell and the core of the building. This excludes the cost of architectural designs from Ansara Architecture Pty Limited, based in South Africa. The building sitting on 3 plots is now estimated to be valued at 2,500,000 United States of American dollars. The couple also purchased 0.32 acres of government land from one Anthony Duke Essien, a known government land sales agent named in the added to the list as if they were tax exempt. I asked the investigators to go back, look at the HS code, and for those of you, HS code is a harmonized code that the customs officers use to determine the classification and taxes applicable to goods. When they did the analysis following the HS code, it came out that 38.7 million Ghana cedis of taxes were evaded. So in respect of the two sums, that is the $2 million, JFH Plan Pool has been asked, we have made a demand on them to pay that money. Then when it comes to the taxes, we have asked GRA, because under the tax laws, it is GRA that can make a demand for the payment of the taxes. So we've asked that GRA should make a demand for the 38.7 million. Now that is our investigators' assessment. GRA may come out with a different figure because they are the tax experts. So our investigators' figure may be confirmed or even adjusted upwards depending on what the GRA says. Now when it comes to the issue of over-invoicing, we noticed that they were over-invoiced by between, that is the equipment, the drip equipment were over-invoiced by between 100 to 300%. All right, so I give you an example. One piece of equipment which costs $40,000, the government paid $84,000 for that equipment. That is over 110%. And so we are now diligently looking through all the equipment, and you can imagine that the equipment for all the districts, there were, hundreds of pieces of equipment. So we are going through each one of them because we are looking at a criminal investigation. And in criminal law, charges must be specific. If you miss the element of specificity, your case will be thrown out. And that is why I keep urging Ghanaians to be patient, because we need diligent investigation so that when I send a case to court, we don't have any doubt that criminality has occurred. So, ladies and gentlemen, prosecutions have commenced in the SkyTrain and National Service scandals. In the case of the latter, we have filed charges against the former Chief Executive, Executive Director, Osea Sibe Entry, and his deputy, Gifty Owari. Charges are being prepared against the rest of the public officers and the so-called marketplace vendors. In all, we intend to file about 10 cases in the NSA scandal and will use some of the public officers and vendors as prosecution witnesses. Now, this is a strategy that is working very well for us, and we intend to continue to use that strategy. In a situation where there is a small criminal among big criminals, and the small criminal knows a lot. It is better as a matter of prosecutorial strategy to use a small criminal to get the information in order to be able to succeed, and that is what I'm doing. Also, I wish to announce that the Auditor General has conducted a forensic audit into the NSA, the National Service Scandal, and the total amount of money stolen or illegally spent now stands at 2.2 billion, and not the 548 million that was uncovered by my investigators as at June 2025. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I have here a copy of the Auditor General's report. Again, painstaking investigation is very important in criminal matters. And so, based upon what the Auditor General has done, and this is a forensic audit, okay? Forensic audit means that they've gone beyond what ordinary, auditing would have done. And so, we are going to, based upon this, in some cases, change the charge, amend our charge sheets in order to bring fresh charges. Investigations are still ongoing in respect of the following matters: All African Games, mathematical sets, Bank of Ghana new building, stadia renovation, and National Cathedral. In the case of the National Cathedral, we have actually requested that the Auditor General should conduct another forensic audit, and he's being held by one of the big four accounting companies to be able to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the rumble in the jungle. The buffer stock investigation, which are nicknamed the rumble in the jungle, as at March 2020, when we announced the arrest and detention of suspects Kobne Dubohi and his wife Angela Eje Boateng, the crime office had gathered credible intelligence regarding a criminal enterprise that had been operated by the former chief executive officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company Limited, Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab. Initial estimates put the amount of money pilfered by Mr. Abdul Wahab and his collaborators at the time at around 58 million Ghana cedis, far in excess of the 49 million suspected to have been stolen by Mr. Edubohe and his co-accused persons. I call the criminal enterprise operated by Abdul Wahab and his collaborators at Buffer Stock the rumble in the jungle, not only because of the huge amount of money at stake, but because of the fact that while food suppliers were wailing and gnashing their teeth due to failure to pay them for supplies to the buffer stock, and while our school kids were being denied nutrition under the school feeding program for lack of funds, Mr. Abdul Wahab and his collaborators were busy lawlessly looting funds meant for the program. That is jungle behavior. The informal meaning of the word rumble is to discover illicit activity or the perpetrator of the illicit activity. Through painstaking investigations, the EOCO discovered this illicit criminal enterprise run by a gang of corrupt, lawless officials at the Buffer Stock Company. On June 25, 2025, the EOCO conducted a coordinated Mr. Abdul Wahab, former chief executive of Buffer Stock, his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni, and then James Atieku, the Buffer Stock manager for the northern sector, who was based in Tamale. The operation also led to the arrest of Emmanuel Atta, head of corporate affairs of NAFCO. The arrest followed initial intelligence and assessment by EOCO, who suggested that while serving as CEO of Buffer Stock between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab colluded with his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, Richard Sam, head of finance, Bismarck Owusu Boache, finance department.
Nanchese, onano mo ayakufada bemunanga semono. Yebiti makazaze papa bia menshade nimisa. Because omunyina sikidi ndiska mafriska dia faha media isi medi ube chance me yale. We give to our cases so go to next level. 10 new cases no attorney general check. We're filing against or more. I get away any a so. Say, Sika Medi Sika ma transfer yako or known on one Romanca's account. No, just saying, a binum cramp say, says you no. If you baby, and a baby. then is others interest can offer that pass it. They say omo bobo inti on korana kramponi na kukudam for na nkasemu the iti eye attorney general Dominica na of some investigation ewo eye Bank of Ghana building no nesa de se ho ya akere no almost an investigation about a year cathedral obobo 5 cases bi on the investigate na ekwa kwesi baby a obe make sure bedding ba update Ghana for na yenye hu baby and these cases na wakwa na ekwa kudru sene be punishment bi o ho a ya punishment prosecution mo wa ya prosecute mo sikebi na wasi eje ni ma mine no president meeting ni juma because your uncle for me the afternoon meeting na India session ade nyina enti sanya o nyina ya dia the age no hedo betim bia sene betim ade ajeje sanya nyina because of accountability component na Ghana for eto aba edema NDC for and if I want to make case in so obe update kaka just anoint and this are news na by the mebremo na concern about a year Abdul Wahab no and only be say like a hit to pa Abdul Wahab my first stocks scandal kaka Cağae a good thing so I'm go for na ya de omo fall and akofa the time ono so yeden sa ba fast stocky adi mo how much try face cap this is 16 million Ghana cedis e bi gugu echiro ba yen kan no okay kan de gugu echiro nyina e bi 23 million Ghana cedis e bi 500,000 Ghana cedis e bi so 500,000 another 500,000 Ghana cedis which is 5 billion. So just imagine say 16 million Ghana cedis the times by 10 when you 160 billion and 23 million Ghana cedis currently no what they call OCDs are 213 billion and you when you now so yet yeah and a maslok bosia a year from your mark is boy 500,000 Ghana cedis which is 5 billion. Maslok the CEO Nagasa sending that information and I come speak about me say any many ya no me the only be found some information or a channel so about ma ko that information na sa Abdul Wahab ye kan ho asemi anoda papa stock no sense we be mo ye nyina no omo de ye japade e de mo ho real estate ni 5-bedroom house in semi bring what that here video ni kotina tisina imora mi pa go fu yanda o man Ghana o man kulanse Ghana but ana wa single for still no sapa media so na so mo TV so no mo airport is dom partner kama bi ana ndi sama nyukundo mo nyeshi o mo ba na mo fight corruption nyeshi o mo ba mo fight Ghana msi nyeshi we go am so na mo yeda Ghana msi no. So these are the things that never ma e bit my head actually another comments that we think to share more down for so any be actually I have for Anji Jack Kamina.